As I told you, and now as a repetition for those who haven't been to the lecture part of today's session, we have a different guest speaker as planned. We have Marika here today instead of Salah. I told you about Salah and the background, and that Salah already came to visit us a couple of times as a representative of social impact, but he now switched to become corporate citizenship manager of Zalando. That's the reason why he cannot be here today, but Marika volunteered to replace him, and I think the nice thing is that she is not only a representative of an organization that is supporting the topic of social entrepreneurship in general, but also in this specific area of Baden-Württemberg. And she can tell us a bit more about the activities going on here and about the work of your organization. And I would like to say thank you very much for your flexibility of jumping in and being here today. So thank you, and the stage is yours.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Okay, so before I start talking about social entrepreneurship in Baden-Württemberg and our work, I would like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Marika. I am co-founder and member of the board of Social Entrepreneurship Baden-Württemberg. I think the first time I got in contact with the topic social entrepreneurship was at university when I engaged in the Ashoka Youth Initiative, and I just heard that you today learned about Ashoka, so that's perfect. You know what I'm talking about. So you might understand I really got passionate about this topic very quick, and I stick to it until today. So also at university, during my master's, I founded a student initiative also about facilitating social entrepreneurship. And then I got the chance to join the team organizing the annual Social Innovation Summit, which took place in Zurich back then. So today, besides my job at Social Entrepreneurship Baden-Württemberg, I also work at the Robert Bosch Foundation. Some of you might know the company Bosch. I work there at the foundation as a project manager in the department International Relations in the team Civil Society International. So now I come to our agenda for today. Before I tell you about the organization and our activities, I would like to draw a big picture and ask the question, why should we promote social entrepreneurship in general? And what does social entrepreneurship promise? So I'm usually a very optimistic person, but I'm sad to say that this is reality, at least a part of reality. So humans, animals, nature are currently suffering under climate change, pollution. Social fragmentation isn't only an issue in Germany, but also in the US and many countries around the world. You as students in Mannheim, I don't need to tell you about the issue of affordable housing, I guess. So in a nutshell, we are currently facing serious global challenges. And neither government nor welfare organizations, nor economy or the so-called third sector organizations manage to sufficiently solve those challenges right now. So what now? We have three options. The first one is we can get stuck in blind activism. The second one is we can just crawl under our pillow and give up. And the third one, I like the most, obviously, is we can try to change something about our current situation. So what is desperately needed right now are solution approaches that not only scratch on the surface, but tackle the roots of each of those issues. So the central question here is, how can we join forces to drive collective impact? In the broader context of social innovation and systems change, social entrepreneurship is a very promising topic and approach. Social entrepreneurship offers a great potential to address the grand challenges that confront us all. Business obviously play a fundamental role in our society, impacting almost every part of our life. We just need to look around. Almost everything here in the room is made by companies. Social entrepreneurship is special because it puts people and the planet at the heart of every business model. It is about the sustainable use of resources to serve the society as a whole. So by including various actors from different sectors, social entrepreneurship has the potential to being used as a tool for collective action. So when we come back to the question, why should we promote social entrepreneurship at all? I'd say because by combining business principles with the aspiration of driving social change, we are not only able to find novel solutions to social and environmental problems, but we are also able to push for an inherently responsible economy. So doing good and doing business doesn't need to be separate. So I'm sure you are all familiar with the concept of social innovation and social entrepreneurship, but however, I want to share one definition. This is the only theoretical part in this presentation I really like and which really fits well with our approach at Social Entrepreneurship Baden-Württemberg. And it's written by Johanna Meyer and Christian Zielus, and it is as follows. Social enterprises are established organizations that enact a primary objective of catering to important social and environmental problems of disadvantaged people and communities. They often focus on problems that are not efficiently addressed by public sectors or businesses, and they provide products, services, or interventions by working with and also on behalf of their beneficiaries. So this is the definition we use at Social Entrepreneurship BW. Maybe we can discuss that later on. So if you remember something from this theoretic part, it is that social entrepreneurship is not a lifestyle, but it is a really helpful approach to drive collective impact. So after setting the stage, I would like now to deep dive into the work of Social Entrepreneurship Baden-Württemberg. SOC and BW, the short form of Social Entrepreneurship Baden-Württemberg, is a non-profit association and a platform committed to promoting a purpose-driven economy, especially in Baden-Württemberg and southern Germany. So our vision is to develop Baden-Württemberg into a role model for a purpose-driven economy, which means basically that our vision is that every company in Baden-Württemberg is supposed to become a social enterprise. So in order to reach that vision, we follow our mission to empower, qualify, connect, and support individuals and organizations to address social and environmental challenges by utilizing business acumen. We not only work with startups. A lot of people think that social entrepreneurship is only about startups, but we work with established organizations, welfare organizations, politics, startups, also corporates, and everyone that wants to be engaged in order to really drive collective impact and collective action. So how did it all start? In late 2015, I moved to Stuttgart because of my new job at the foundation, and I was still very passionate about the topic of social entrepreneurship, so I really wanted to connect to some people, some social entrepreneurs, some initiatives that tackle related issues. And I couldn't find something on Google. So that's the first thing you usually do when you come to a new city, right? You Google and maybe you go to Meetup and you try to find some people that are like-minded. But luckily, Alex, with whom I organized the Social Innovation Summit in Zurich, he lived in Stuttgart as well, and he introduced me to some social entrepreneurs. And so after a few weeks, we usually met on weekends, we drank beer and exchanged about the situation in Germany. That's what you need to tell, right? When you found something, beer is always in the history of a startup. So we exchanged about the situation, and very soon we built a group that met on a regular basis. And Alex and another friend of mine and me, we recognized that there is a lot of social enterprises and a lot of people that use social enterprise tools to drive their own business, but they don't know each other because there is no network, and they don't define themselves as social entrepreneurs, but only as usual entrepreneurs. So we decided to organize a meetup and invite everyone that's interested. And about 50 people came at the first meetup, which was a huge success for us. So we had to move on. We had to do another one. And we did another one, we did a third one, and a fourth one. And after the 5th meetup, we decided to found an association in order to build a long-term network. So that was in early 2016, and that was basically the start of Social Entrepreneurship BW as a network. From then on, we started to do co-creation workshops in order to define our vision and the mission as well. We talked about our strategy, our values, and so on. And that is something I still feel which is kind of different to other organizations that support social entrepreneurship in general, because we really, until today, feel like a network, and everyone that is engaged in the topic of social entrepreneurship, or is a social entrepreneur himself or herself, is really asked and invited to engage in the community. So, these are our fields of activity today: network, advocacy, and empowerment. Of course, the network is the heart of the whole organization, because that's where the people come together, also personally, they meet each other, they exchange. So what I'm going to do now is I'll give you some examples of our work in those 3 areas. The first one, of course, we do events. That's what I guess everyone does. But we usually have a special focus in the events we do. So this could be matching. We match corporates and social enterprises, for example, or we foster the exchange between welfare organizations and social innovators. And we do a lot of pitch events, because usually startups need to practice pitching, so this is a great opportunity for us to introduce new initiatives to the community and also give them an audience for their social enterprises or their initiatives. So, for example, today in Mannheim, we have our kickoff event, which is called Sozialmotor. I hope some of you have heard of it. And this is basically the format we use for pitching events. So we, I think 5 social enterprises can apply, and they pitch at the event, and in the end they get either coaching or money or something else. So look for Sozialmotor during the next weeks. There's going to be another one. In Stuttgart, this event is called Social Innovation Competition. This is an example I mentioned here. It takes place about 1 to 2 times a year, because it's a bit bigger than the other events we do. For example, the Social Innovation Night is a format we do every 6 weeks, roundabout. And is a really relaxed atmosphere, social initiatives, and not only social entrepreneurs, but everyone engaging in the context of purpose-driven economy can present their work, and afterwards you just have a short discussion and networking. So I already mentioned the co-creation workshops. This is how it could look like. Together with the community, with the social entrepreneurs, we talk about our activities, about our topics, about the needs of the social enterprise in order to adjust our offers. And also another format we use is corporate partnerships, because we are very interested in not only focusing on the smaller community of social entrepreneurs, but also inviting a broader community in. So the second field of activity is empowerment. This is the one most of the other organizations that support social enterprises do as well. Here you can see a picture of the event Social Startup in 54 Hours, which is also known as Social Startup Weekend. It's quite common. So we invited social enterprises and also people that want to found a social enterprise, and then we locked them up for 3 days in the Witzmann space in Stuttgart, and they worked on their business models, and in the end they pitched. So here you can see a picture where one startup is pitching right now, and the other ones, the audience is listening, and in the front is you can see the jury. And maybe one important thing is that at this event, the Social Startup in 54 Hours, we had 2 winning teams, and one of them is Raupe Immersat. It's a food sharing cafe, and they are currently they just run their crowdfunding campaign on Start Next, and we supported them during the last 6 months with coaching on business model, on finance, and everything they needed. They got the possibility to decide what topic they want to have a coaching on, and they got co-working as well. So in the topic area of empowerment, Social Entrepreneurship BW also solves as a resource repository and a competence center, because every time we hear of a new need of the community, we try to develop a new tool for them. So yeah, this is the event I was just talking about. And another very important topic is advocacy. So you can drive positive change by supporting the actors that drive positive change, but this is not all. So we really need to involve also the leaders and politics, because they need to understand what social entrepreneurship is about, and often that's not the case. That's what we recognized when we invited a lot of the political parties for the election last year. We, especially here at this event, we had the SPD, the CDU, the FDP, and Linke, and we basically asked them, in what way does your party support social entrepreneurship, and what role does it play for your party? And they sometimes really had trouble answering the question, because they hadn't been confronted with this topic at all. So afterwards, some of the politicians came to us and asked us if we were willing to do a workshop together with them on social entrepreneurship, and they really wanted to connect to social enterprises and also the other startups in order to learn about the topic. So this event, this really small event, was very impactful for us, because we not only coached our social enterprises in the network, but the leaders who offer them support. So awareness creation is a very important topic as well, and we try also to do public campaigns and media content. For For example, when Fairphone visited us in Stuttgart, Miguel Ballester, he gave a keynote at the Social Startup in 54 Hours event, and afterwards we asked him to do a short interview. And we published it on YouTube, and that also is something we try to do every time we have an event. We not only share our knowledge with the community, but also with a wider community that is not already engaged. So I would like to show you this interview real quick. I hope the audio works. Oh, obviously this didn't work. No. How can I click? Okay. Also rausgehen? Okay. Okay. Ah, sorry. Okay. Just 1 minute. Sorry. Okay. 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 Should work. If not, I'll just send you the link and you can look at it at home, watch it at home. Mm-hmm. Mm. Ah, yes. Okay. There it is. Is it too loud?
Hello, Miguel. Nice to have you here. Great. Always a pleasure. May you just introduce yourself a bit and tell us what Fairphone is about?
Yeah. So, let me start with Fairphone, maybe, and then tell you what I do at Fairphone. Fairphone is a mobile phone company actually in Amsterdam. We are 70 people with a very special mission, I would say. What we want actually is to change a little bit how our current economy works, to move to a more fair and just economy, both in social and environmental terms. But if I tell you this, it's a little bit big and difficult to grasp, right? How do you do that? So we do that by making a very complex product, and complex as it has a very complex supply chain behind it, which is a smartphone. A smartphone is a product that brings together a lot of trade-offs between social and environmental sustainability. So you can think of questions like where the materials come from, under what conditions a mobile phone is made, how it is designed to last long or short, depending on the brand, and what happens with these mobile phones at the end of life. All the problem with e-waste. Fairphone started as an awareness campaign about all these issues, about all these issues related to the electronics industry. But at some point in 2012, 2013 actually, we decided to become an independent company that was going to be part of the system. We wanted to be able to answer these questions and to get our hands dirty with all these issues, let's say. Now we exist as an independent social enterprise for since 2013. So what is that? Almost 4 years, and we've designed 2 smartphones, which are.
Okay, I'm going to stop it here. I guess you know Fairphone already. I just wanted to give you an idea of the work we do when we say awareness creation. So I hope the amount of clicks is increasing during the next month. Okay. Here. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. So what you could see right here is how we constantly adjust our agenda. So we ask social enterprises what is important for them and what are the challenges you face, and we include the learnings into our strategy. So by now we have like 32 social enterprises in our closer network. In whole Baden-Württemberg, we are also active in Karlsruhe and in Friedrichshafen and in Heidelberg. And in another about 150 people are involved in the broader network. So this is our biggest project we are currently planning for next year, which is called the Social Innovation Summit. This is the event I talked about. I co-organized back then when I was at the university. It then happened at Zurich, and now we're bringing it to Stuttgart. But we also adjusted the topic a little bit. So now it's not only about social entrepreneurship as a tool for positive change, but about social innovation in general. So our mission is to involve many different stakeholders, from politics, from welfare, from economy, from arts, and first talk about our understanding of social innovation. What do we mean? What terminology do we use? And then we want to bring people together in order to develop innovative approaches. So you're invited to come to Stuttgart. It's not far. March 9th to 10th. I would be happy to see you there. And also, I would be happy to see you at one of our events, and I warmly invite you to be part of a purpose-driven economy.